This is Casinos and Sport, bringing you that heat and that fire. All right, guys, we're going to debunk a few things here. We're going to ether and we're going to murk a few things here. Let's get on to the first one. Errol Spence and Terence Crawford. Here's the thing that is the underlying fundamental separation between the two of them. Errol Spence has already fought fighters at the welterweight division that has given him credence and credibility. You see, last year, back in November, right, Andre Ward was basically siding with his buddy Terence Crawford when he sat there and said that Terence Crawford proved himself when he was undisputed at 140. Okay, here's my thing with that. When a fighter has a certain level of accomplishments, you can't take that away from them, right? It is what it is. But what you got to do is you have to look at the smoke and mirrors that's associated behind that. The Gamboa fight. Gamboa was coming freshly off of a situation with him and his wife, a domestic dispute. He wasn't even fighting at a weight class that he was supposed to fight at the time of the fight. But Terence Crawford, for those who are pugilisms, right? Pugilistic folks that thrive into the realm of pugilism, it is the sport of boxing. Those who love the sweet science, right? This was Terence Crawford's coming out party because no one knew who he was. They just knew he was a good prospect prior to the Gamboa fight. And what we found out in that fight is Terence Crawford gave us a flawed DNA fighter style, which is hit me, I'm going to hit you back. This was the first iteration and the first introduction of that. Now, he won the fight because he has that killer dog instinct that when he taps into it, there's a pro and there's a con. It just so happens that there was more of a pro than there was a con. But it wasn't that he was fighting the best Gamboa. He was fighting, again, a Gamboa who's not at his best coming into the fight. You guys need to go and look at all of the things associated with that. But Terence Crawford gets the credit nevertheless. Now we have to look at the other fighters he's fought. John Molina, Hank Lundy, Julius Indongo. You have to ask yourself these questions. Who are really these fighters at 140? Errol the True Spence at 147 fought Kell Brook. Kell Brook was the most dangerous welterweight at the time. Back in 2015, 2016, there was no welterweights that wanted to fight Kell Brook. Errol Spence went into Sheffield in front of almost 30,000 fans, and he dispatched Kell Brook in a hard fight, which arguably you could say he lost the first 6 rounds. I say he did. Some people say he lost 4-2. But he came back in the tactical aggression, technical punching, placement, body snatching work, the levying onslaught, the punishment style, and dispatched Kell Brook. And then he beat Shawn Porter. He outbrawled the brawler. He proved his legitimacy and his credibility at the welterweight division. This is what Andre Ward wanted to see. Errol Spence versus a Shawn Porter. And like Bob Arum said, he won 8-4. So Andre Ward stopped showing favoritism towards Terence Crawford and really put it out there that Terence Crawford has not beaten anybody credibly at 147. And that we need to see him fight a Shawn Porter. Because this is going to let us know what his true litmus test is at 147. Look at Danny Garcia. He's calling out Terence Crawford again, putting him on an on-call notice. You know why? Because they know that Terence Crawford has not been tested. Terence Crawford says the right things. He talks a good game, but he hasn't walked a good game. And like the Chihuahua, he's still barking behind the damn fence. So Terence Crawford needs to get his weight up and start doing what we call heavyweight lifting. This is when we're going to know truly where he's at his truest and his most properest levels, i.e. via heavyweight lifting, what type of welterweight that he is. We already know this with Errol the True Spence. You know why? Because he's the new IBF and WBC champion. Let's leave that one alone. Now let's talk about Ryan Garcia versus Gervonta Davis. Ryan Garcia is a good prospect. The problem with Ryan Garcia, and I've told people I even hold him in higher regards than Teofimo Lopez. The problem with him is he's barking up more than he can shoot. Let me say it again. He's barking up more than he can shoot. Fighting a Gervonta Tank Davis is going to be an underlying problem for him. Because Tank Davis, when you look at him, you see the second coming of Sugar Ray Robinson. Why do I say that? Because those who are pugilists, that truly understand the sport, understand that Sugar Ray Robinson had power in both hands, and that his power translated for 12 rounds. And that you just don't understand with his sheer athleticism, explosion, and ability to switch it up, what's going to happen in that fight. That's Gervonta Tank Davis. Now, Gervonta Tank Davis gets flack because people are saying, well, every time the name Lomachenko gets brought up, he gets scared. That's just people running their mouths. Because at the end of the day, last time I checked, Gervonta Tank Davis has not shown a fighter who's unwilling to fight Lomachenko. As a matter of fact, he was waiting for Lomachenko to go down to 130 so that they could have their fight. But after the Luke Campbell fight, when Lomachenko got another exposure, then at that, Lomachenko acted like he had memory loss. He acted like for a second he had Alzheimer's. He didn't want to fight Gervonta Tank Davis. That's neither here nor there. We know that's the super fight at 135 pounds. It's going to happen eventually. It is what it is. But Ryan Garcia, higgity hush. You're not ready for Gervonta Tank Davis. Nowhere near that. If I'm Oscar De La Hoya, I would do the same thing that I'm doing with Canelo Alvarez, which is basically tell Ryan Garcia, look, we're going to continue to have you fight Guinness World of Record type of fighters that are veterans that are there to be laid down so that you can look good, so that you can continue to be the IG model that you are. That's what Ryan Garcia needs to continue to do. As a matter of fact, you have Devin Haney problems you need to deal with. Devin Haney's out there making you look stupid. I would bark up that tree with a guy that's around your level as opposed to Gervonta Tank Davis, which is an anomaly or an enigma you can't figure out. It's really that simple. Now let's get on to the last conversation here. This is what people need to understand. Jermall Charlo. Now, people are sitting here saying that, a la Oscar De La Hoya, oh, Jermall Charlo, he just pretty much rejected a huge lucrative offer from Canelo Alvarez. First of all, we don't know the details associated with that lucrative offer. I'm clear that it was a low blow offer. And the reason why I'm clear on that is because, like Al Heyman has taught and through his advisement of PBC fighters, and this is why Oscar De La Hoya tried to take his dig at PBC fighters and say, oh, they need to step up. No, it's not they need to step up. What he's trying to say indirectly is they need to take whatever is given to them. Let me say it again. They need to take whatever is given to them. Basically trying to put them back into an archaic promoter-fighter type of relationship. PBC fighters are independent free agent, independent free contractors. Al Heyman has taught them financial independence and financial, responsibility. So this means that they're just not going to accept the first offer. This started with Floyd Mayweather. Never take the first offer. Let me say it again. Never take the first offer. What they don't want to tell you in all of this fancy Oscar De La Hoya jargon or fancy phraseology is this. Canelo Alvarez does not want to expose his cash bid status. What is that? His cash bid status in terms of him being able to continue to make money. Remember, he signed a lucrative $365 million DAZN deal. So in that lucrative offer or in that lucrative deal, however you want to look at it, that deal highlights and it denotes, right? And it explains that Canelo Alvarez is going to be making anywhere upwards to $32 to $33 million. Canelo Alvarez is a money maker, but not a money generator. This is why he's only making money. He's not getting no back end money. Let me say it again. He's only making money. He's not getting no back end money. He didn't understand the money generation part. He copied Floyd Mayweather in a lot of things, but he just couldn't understand that. And that's why he's limited to where he's at. Oscar De La Hoya understands Canelo Alvarez's truest and most properest levels. This is why they also said that Demetrius Andrade is a boring fighter. And they can't find a way to sell that fight to boxing fans. But boxing fans are clamoring for Canelo Alvarez versus Demetrius Andrade. They're clamoring for Canelo Alvarez versus Jermall Charlo. You see what I'm talking about? Dupery, masterful dupery phraseology to find ways to financially, physically, and emotionally duck elite U.S. fighters that can expose Canelo Alvarez. They don't want this because you guys have to understand, Floyd Mayweather already exposed this guy. The blueprint is still fresh. The bachelor degrees ass whipping on how to beat Canelo Alvarez is still fresh. Floyd Mayweather put it out there. All you have to be is an elite fighter to continue to expose him. They know Jermall Charlo is. They know Demetrius Andrade is. So let's find ways and loopholes to come to the boxing public and say, you see, we try to make these fights work. You see, this is a boring fighter. You know why they use the term boring? Because of the sweet science element. Hit and don't get hit. They know that's how Demetrius Andrade is going to fight Canelo Alvarez. They don't want that level of exposure because they already saw that through Floyd Mayweather. They already saw that through Errol Spence. You see what I'm talking about? You brain full of mush and you brainwash followers. You got to be able to see the bigger picture. They don't want this from Jermall Charlo because they understand that Jermall Charlo's athleticism and his explosion can ultimately expose Canelo Alvarez. So again, will we get the underlying details of what the contract was entailing? No, because I'm sure there's paid to lose requirements, paid to lose scenarios, and paid to lose contingencies in there that a Jermall Charlo would not take because he's being advised by a shrewd businessman to the level and the degree and the stature or the highest degree of the order of an Al Heyman. This is not going to happen. So in PBC fashion, never accept the first offer. You know why? Because usually the first offer is usually the worst cherry picking, wounded animal, or paid to lose offer. It's really that simple, folks. This is He Knows the Sport. Checking out.